You may know this from watching some of my videos. The number one concern for seniors is not dying. The number one concern for seniors is actually outliving your money, meaning living longer and running out of money. Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, your reverse mortgage experts. And you found the Serving Seniors podcast, where we highlight those businesses and those individuals that not just help seniors survive, but help seniors thrive in retirement. And today we have a special episode. We're going to share about our business and how we go deep with seniors and how we help seniors thrive in retirement. And more importantly, we're going to share the why behind the what. We're going to share why we decided to specialize in lending to seniors in the reverse mortgage space. I get that question a lot. Matt, there's all different parts of the mortgage world. There's the investor side, there's the commercial side, there's the first-time home buyers, the upsides, all these. Why seniors? And today I want to share with you a little bit about why we do what we do. So to give you a background on why, I'd love to share with you some of our clients and some of their stories. And it should give you a little bit better perspective on our motivation and why this is so important to us. So we met a client earlier this summer. Let's call her Betty. And Betty had a unique situation. She had gone through her whole life, had done fine, and she bought a home. She paid it all off, didn't owe any money on it, but unfortunately, the money in the bank just wasn't there. She hadn't saved what she thought she should have saved. She hadn't kept it all like she'd hoped she would. And now her situation was she had a paid off home. She had a little bit of money coming in every month, but not a lot. And with all this inflation, with the crazy world out there, she found herself in that spot where either one, she's going to have to do with less, which she'd always done, but it didn't make sense. Even her kids wanted her to have more in retirement or start getting money from her kids. But she had this home. It was paid off. It was worth almost $400,000, but she was still tight on money. So her son knew me from the real estate world and reached out, started asking questions, just like inquisitive, learning about what it is, what we do, the changes in the reverse mortgage space, how those could apply to his mom. And after some questions and some dialogue, he said, you know what, this could be a great solution. Let me connect you with my mom. She's been really interested in this, but she had concerns because of what she heard in the past. So we were able to connect with his mom, and we were able to walk through the process, how it works, what the benefits are, how the pros outweigh the cons in her situation, how it could really, really change her situation to help her thrive in retirement. She had the concerns that everyone has, like, well, am I going to lose my house? Will I have a place to live? Is this really what I should be doing? You know, am I going to take all my kids' inheritance? Just all those different things. And as we walked through those and explained to her, this is just an FHA mortgage, just like any other mortgage. You still own your house. You can still sell your house if you ever wanted to. You can still give your home to your kids if something happens to you. But you get the money that you need to have the type of retirement that you've always wanted and that you've earned and that you deserve. So what we're able to do for Betty, we were able to, number one, is give her $35,000. She needed a new car. She needed to work on the home a little bit, was thinking about a new roof. So we're able to give her that money, lump sum, $35,000. She also got a line of credit of another $135,000, line of credit. So if her air conditioner goes out, if her car she gets turns out to be a lemon, if something happens, if she needs to take care of her family, take care of her grandkids, instead of having to ask them for money, instead of them having to go to borrow money from somewhere else, she could be that rock for her family because she was liquid. She had money in the bank, and she also had a line of credit she could get. But the neat thing about these loans, because these folks are on fixed incomes, she doesn't have a huge monthly payment that she is tied to. She can pay zero when she borrows money. So it really opens up her budget, all while still owning her home. So we were able to give her the money. We were able to get her the money she needs. She has the line of credit for the future. And most importantly, now she has peace of mind. There's so many things in this world that you have to worry about, especially as a senior. Your medicine, and you're going to have insurance, what's going on with the government, all this kind of crazy stuff that seniors worry about. But now she doesn't have to worry about finances anymore. And to show you kind of what the neat thing about how this all worked out for her and how she feels about what we were able to do for her, it was awesome. Uh, she actually wrote us a thank you note. If you're watching this on video, I've got it on the screen. Dear Matt, I just want to thank you for all your wonderful help you gave me with my reverse mortgage. You made everything so simple and easy. Answer all my questions. May God bless you and all that you do. And to think, she wrote me a note like that, and to think she was worried before we started that this may be a bad thing for her. And now she's writing us a thank you note after we educated, after we taught her, after we explained things to her, after we came at it with the heart of a teacher. She was thanking us because now she has what she needs to have the type of retirement she's always wanted. So that's a really big one example of why we do what we do, just changing people's lives when they need it the most, when they deserve it the most in their retirement. Another example that I'll share with you is we had a client, we'll call him Richard. So Richard reached out and he said he'd called 20 different lenders. About 15 of them didn't answer, 5 of them did, but those 5 didn't do what we do in the senior lending and reverse mortgage space. So he shared with me a situation. He said that he was 80 years old. His wife was 75, but unfortunately she started to have signs of dementia, but her dementia wasn't all mental. It was mental and physical, meaning that she would just get up and start walking around. So she wasn't totally there. She wasn't totally there all the time, went in and out, but physically she could walk around. She was probably in better shape than he was. And he said, Matt, if I fall chasing her around the house and break my hip, what's going to happen to her? And that really struck me because he called out of a position of love for his wife. He called because he knew that she deserved awesome care. She deserved him to be there. But if he was chasing her around the house, he couldn't be there for her if he fell and broke his hip. And I thought that was awesome to show, why he called us and why we do what we do is because we try to prevent those things. And how did we do that? Well, he had a mortgage. He was paying about $1,200 a month. So we paid his mortgage off. That mortgage payment became zero. So he's paying zero on his mortgage. But the reason why I really called was he wanted cash to be able to hire in-home care that could help him with his wife. So he wasn't the one chasing around the house all the time and had a chance of falling. So he now has a zero mortgage payment after we went through the process of educating him, teaching him how it all works, letting him know he still owns his house, he still sell his house, everything that's really true about these FHA, consumer protected, new and improved reverse mortgages. He moved forward and he got $100,000 in the bank and $100,000 line of credit. All this while still having $200,000 in equity in his home. So Richard called us out of love for his wife because he wanted to protect her, and he couldn't protect her if he couldn't protect himself. And now he's in a much better spot. They are having folks come in, folks help, folks around the house, and they have money to use. They also have money if their family ever needs money because they have access to some of this equity that was locked up. Equity is locked up in the home, not available to be used. And now it's liquid for him. But remember, he still owns his house. He can still sell his house if he has to move into a facility, or if anything happens to him with the way we do these loans, he's still able to pass the equity left on to his kids. So I thought that was a great example of how we can solve problems through home equity. Is another great reason why we do what we do. My last example is we actually can do these as a purchase. We can do these as a purchase. So we had a client reach out to us because he lived in his home for over 20 years. He raised his family and had a downstairs and upstairs. But his concern was his wife was starting to have trouble moving around, starting to be a little bit memory challenged. And he was worried that at some point she may try to go up the stairs. He was worried that something may happen to them because the house just wasn't right for them and their situation now. And he was feeling unsafe because he had to be on the guard all the time watching his wife. So we got connected with him through his real estate agent. And we were able to share with him, have you ever thought of you can actually get the home that fits your needs better, but not be stuck with a huge monthly payment? Because the homes he were interested in were one level. They were about $200,000 more expensive than the home he was going to sell. And his concern was if he sells his home, has to borrow $150,000, $200,000, that monthly payment is going to really eat into his budget. Now, he was in a situation where he actually had a decent sized portfolio, had about $1 million in investments. So he was trying to decide, well, should I sell my home? If I need another $200,000, pull it out of my investments and go from 1 million down to 800,000. Should I get a traditional mortgage where I can borrow the 200,000 and pay monthly payments every month? Or should I look at this home equity conversion, FHA version of a reverse mortgage? Because that way I don't have payments. So after we went through all the options with him, he was worried that if you take money out of the portfolio, you're down to 800,000. The market tanks, you're down to 500,000. And if you haven't checked lately, if you have to put someone in 24/7, 365 care, depending on the place, it could be, a facility could be $10,000 a month. A really nice one could be more than that. If you have someone come to your home, it could be tens of thousands of dollars a month. We've had some folks talk about hospice care that could be tens of thousands, and people live quite a long time on that. So, if you're down to 500,000, you're spending 10, 15, 20, $30,000 a month on different things. It doesn't take very long for that to go away. So you may know this from watching some of my videos. The number one concern for seniors is not dying. The number one concern for seniors is actually outliving your money, meaning living longer and running out of money. And because of that, he decided, you know what? I think the best option for me is to sell my home. I'll make a good stack of money. And then I'm going to borrow the maximum amount I could with the home equity conversion reverse mortgage. So instead of him coming to the table with $150,000 or $200,000 from his portfolio, we were able to give him a large enough reverse mortgage for purchase that he had $150,000 cash left over. So if you follow me, he has his home, too big, upstairs, etc., that he swapped out for a home that fits their needs better as far as the setup. It's safer, it's better for his wife, and it's newer. On top of that, he also got $150,000 cash in the bank, liquid, because he made more on his home than he had to put down. So got a home that fits his needs, has $150,000 now that he can set aside for his wife and for her care. He still owns his home. He could still sell his home if he ever needs it. And if anything happens to him, he could pass it on to his kids. So he was able to right size his home, also to improve his financial situation at the same time. Now, that is another reason why we do what we do. So whether it's a refinance, whether it's a purchase, we are able to help seniors get what they need. We're able to seniors work through budgets. We're able to help seniors extend the runway on their cash. All this while they still own their home, can still sell their home if they ever needed to, and can still pass the home on to the kids. So hopefully through this, you learned a little bit more about why we do what we do. And the greatest example I can share with you is why the name of our podcast is the Serving Seniors Podcast. We do this because we feel that seniors have worked so hard. They have put their whole life, they've struggled, challenges, sweat, blood, tears, working their whole life. They've done that to get to retirement, and they deserve to get the type of retirement that they've envisioned. They deserve to get the type of retirement that they've always wanted. And that's why we created this podcast, to share how we can help them, but how our business partners can help them as well. So if you have any questions about what we do, any questions on why we do it, please feel free to reach out to us. And please, please, please do me a favor. We have to get this message out to more people. So please subscribe, please share, and please, most importantly, go out there and take care of a senior today. Thanks again, Matt Helton. Have a great day. Talk with you soon.
Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, home of Retirement Mortgage Solutions. And we really do appreciate you checking out the Serving Seniors podcast today. Now, please go to the description down in the body of the podcast where you can subscribe to get future shows. Please click that notification button so you get notified when other shows drop. And also, if you can go to servingseniourspodcast.com, and we'd love to hear a comment about our show. We have a heart to serve seniors, and we have a heart to make sure seniors don't just survive retirement, don't just get by in retirement. We want to show seniors how to thrive in retirement. So if you know of anyone that's 55 and older that could use some extra cash flow, maybe the retirement's not going the way that they like, our retirement mortgage solutions are designed for folks, depending on the state, they're either 55 or 62 and older, to make sure that they have that kind of retirement that they want. As long as they own a home and they're in a good equity position, there could be some solutions that they may not have thought about, or maybe they've thought of and they just didn't know how they work. That's what we do. So anyone in that age group that could use some mortgage advice, my team and I would love to be able to help them. Thanks again, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. Have a great day.